that intro, by the way. Like
that'd be a horrible fucking intro.
Yeah, that would be like just start. That would be
welcome
just like the
to
podcast
today's
is
episode of We're Going to Depress You Before You Get to Your Job.
It's just not worth it anymore. Let's get the get the energy up.
Let's just jump in.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, welcome to another episode of Go With Your Palate,
where we talk about wine,
entrepreneurship,
and whatever the fuck else.
With me, Joe Wagner, and my co-host Chris Rubio, Fat Mario. All right. So
yeah, I think that's like, I don't know. That's been like, we don't usually intro right off the bat anymore.
No.
Have you noticed that? That's like,
I know,
it's been a long time.
We're usually just like bullshitting here,
we
and
just
then
like came in with the intro.
And then our chat are like, "Hey, you guys are live." Like, oh, okay, time to go.
Well, hey.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's up?
How's your back, bro? Because we. No, do what? I mean, everyone's been asking. We've been talking about this.
They threw some doctor terms at me, and I got some kind of like a blobbity plate. I don't know. So he's
a blobbity plate.
He's like,
that's the
worst. You could get
bro.
surgery, but your body will outgrow it or compensate within like 6 months. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna wait. So now I'm killing my liver, kidneys, whatever, with a bunch of ibuprofen. So that should be nice.
Ibuprofen. Are you using?
But I've also been doing like CBD lotion on my lower back, and I've been getting a little bit buzzed off of the gummies.
I said we're gonna change our podcast. Actually, it's gonna be weed.
Weed entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship. See, and more weed. CBD. I really enjoy it. But hey, I mean, you're seeing like the medical benefits of it.
I do see them.
Yeah.
I think it's real.
Yeah. Especially like, if you're taking it and then you kind of realize you get the munchies, right?
Yeah. I had an interesting episode this last weekend.
Yeah.
So I took these new gummies, and they're like 10 milligrams of THC, which is a lot. For me, that's like a lot.
You've just really been experimenting lately. I love it.
So I get the munchies. It's like late at night on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And so I'm like in the kitchen, and I got these, like I had like two things. One of them was like a turtle. You know what those are? Like chocolate, but it was like with boiled peanuts.
Yeah.
It was from like Georgia, and the distributor from Georgia like sent me this gift pack. And so it was in there, and so I find it, I'm like, this looks good. So I eat it. It's like perfect amount of like dark chocolate, salty, nuts. It was really good. I was like, God damn, maybe it's just the munchies making this stuff taste so good. And then I had something else, and I was like, God damn, that's really fucking good too. And I was like, is my palate just screwed right now? Like, does everything taste amazing? So I find some peach O's, like little gummy rings, and I tried them. Tasted like absolute dog shit. Like ruined my palate. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was like, at least my palate's in check. All right.
Peach O's?
Peach O's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I find myself standing in the kitchen. I'm looking at the bag on the other counter, and I just start talking shit to the peach O's. I'm like, you guys just wish you were real peaches. Your fake color, you fucking sugar rim. You guys are garbage. You're not a real fucking peach. You'll never be a real fucking peach. Fuck you, peachos. Now I fucking hate peachos. So that's it.
Well, why, man?
So Rachel.
Oh my gosh.
Rachel actually took a video of me.
Is this them?
Rachel took a video of me. That's them. Yeah, they're garbage.
She did. She took
a video of me doing just talking some shit.
Do you want us to play it?
I don't know if we should play the video, but I can play the audio. You want me to find the audio?
Wait, what? Wait, you're doing this right now?
Dude, I'll just put it up to the microphone. Yeah. Why not?
This is the kind of shit that goes on. This is funny.
Yeah, so what did you do this weekend?
I focused on self-care, man. I did a lot of hiking, reading, working out. Getting back in a routine, rejuvenation.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of workouts are you doing?
Well, I'm doing something that you used to do. I got back into Peloton, which you used to do that. Well, you were doing that first until I got on, and I started beating you on every race, and then you just would cry, and you said I was cheating. But anyways, so I'm still doing that, and then I incorporate I create a boot camp for myself. So I do also weights and all kinds of different stuff in combination with that.
A little boot camp for yourself.
Yeah, man.
All right, I don't know. I don't have the video anymore. Did you get it?
What? Yeah, you sent me all kinds of weird shit.
Huh, I don't know. If you got it, you can play it. Go for it.
What? That was like the weakest like build-up, bro. You're like, I don't got it. Like, you just shot it like this weekend. Like, where'd it go? You like deleted it?
It wasn't on my phone. It was on Rachel's. Jesus. Yeah. Anyways, it was it was actually a lot of fun. I thought Rachel sent it.
The peachos. I called them bad names. Why? Because they're not peaches and they don't taste very good. So I told them that they wish they could be peaches, but they can't. Like all that fucking fake color, all that fucking sugar rim. They're not a fucking peach. There's nothing natural about those little bitches. Fuck those guys. Fucking hate peachos now.
Oh, I guess I do have it.
So there you go. That's it.
I came through.
I know she sent it to you because it was the fucking gummies you gave us.
Oh my
Like,
god!
Look what you did to my husband.
I'm not a dealer, but
Look what you did to my husband. God damn it! And then I passed the fuck out. That was great. It's like a good sleep aid. Thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It sounds like it was good. But just no more peachos, dude.
Yeah. No more peachos. Even if they give me like THC gummy peachos, I'd be like, fuck that shit.
Yeah, can I ask that? But like, what about, do you have something against like all kind of like fruit gummies now? Like, what about like sour apples or like, like the watermelons, like the Sour Patch Kid, like watermelon ones?
Those are pretty good. My favorite all time is the Nerds Rope.
Dude, I introduced you to the Nerds Rope.
Yeah, you did. And the Nerds gummy things. They're like, those are the best candy, best junk food candy I've ever had. Nothing touches those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's it's good for, well, nothing really, like physically. It will if you start,
it's very nourishing.
They should do like like the Super Size Me, right, with McDonald's. They should just do like a number 2, but it's just Nerds Rope. Or like you're just surviving off Willy Wonka fucking candy.
See how long that'd be a good right? Reality show.
What do you think would happen?
That'd be awesome.
I don't know.
Like, all right, you guys are out in the wild. Like, no food. The only place you can get food is from this candy shop. And see how long people survive.
Dude, this is a new show.
I think
a show that is just centered around, like, every episode or whatever is just about, or maybe you have like a few episodes that kind of like see like over time. So maybe it'd be a month, but you just choose a diet. Like, it's a different diet every time that someone needs to stick with.
For like
and just
3
see
months.
what happens. Yeah.
So everybody's got diabetes
Let's
now.
Let's this now.
I think people would actually love it.
Yeah.
Like the effects of your body on like, it's like, okay, we're doing fast food on this one, we're doing candy only on this one, and then you throw in like the vegans. It's like, now you like, dude, I got the shittiest diet. It's like, you got to go gluten-free and vegan.
Wait. On this episode, we're gonna just see what happens when you're just a vegan, though.
We'll like,
that's like
cool.
If people already
eat organic kale the whole time. See how it sustains me.
Actually, it would be kind of interesting to see, like, side by side.
Yeah.
Just some of the like different diets and stuff like that. I mean,
I think we just gave somebody $1 million idea right now. So
well,
somebody take this and make entertainment for all of us, please.
Can we copyright that, or can we?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think so.
So we just threw that out.
We just threw that out in the universe.
Okay.
Somebody's gonna pick it up.
All right.
Dust it off.
Can you give us like some credit, maybe?
Yeah.
When they do it.
Just from co-creators, Chris and Joe. Like, just something. We don't need money. We just want the fame.
So what's up, man? I heard that you were. Didn't you just went on the wine train recently?
I did. Yeah, and I gotta say, highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It's a whole different experience. So. Noble House, or a restaurant group, they took it over like, I don't know, a couple years ago. And so now they have, like, if you think about it this way, like, every car is a different, or can be a different experience, right? So if they're like, oh, we've got bookings for this whatever, like where you stop at a winery or two or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, we got enough for one car, we need a second car, and it's like they can just add that additional experience or those people to that experience. And so they have they've been evolving pretty rapidly. So now they got stuff like, you're doing I think it was a 5-course meal, and it's paired with a wine from each region as you go through, and then there's like an educator on there and telling you about what it is. And like, as a local, I always thought the wine train would be like super boring. You're killing.
Wait, was that your first time?
No, I'd been on like the Santa Cruz. We did a company thing there, but and the company thing was awesome. Like one of the cars was remember doing poker in one.
Yeah, why am I?
Yeah, so you were there.
Yeah, I was there, dude. That was like, I see. Art's cracking up. He's got some stories. We should probably bring him about that train ride. Oh, he doesn't want to tell him.
He doesn't want to tell him. No, but like it's if you're a local, like, I would definitely recommend it. But then if you're a tourist and you're like, I got, I want to hit like 2 wineries today, maybe walk around downtown Santa Elena or whatever, like burn a whole day. Like you can do like a 6-hour ride and see some great stuff and have a good lunch.
Yeah.
And yeah, it kind of parallels Highway 29, so you're not really seeing all that much of a different take on Napa Valley as you drive up. But it's at a different level. Like you're up higher, you can see over everything. It's a beautiful ride. And the food was phenomenal. Like Noble House is crushing it.
Yeah.
And they support us with a couple of our wines. Like they got the Belgloss Yulin Lock on there. I think they got the Quilt Cab. So that's pretty cool. Like it's all Napa Valley wines.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good trip. I haven't gotten the I got a picture in with the conductor. We got in there.
Right.
Yeah. We kind of like not really broke in. Well, did we break in?
You just batted your little eyes to the. She said, "Go ahead, honey. Go ahead."
No. We had a connection actually. We had our guy get in front there, but it was good. But you were saying with this that each cart. Did you say like each cart kind of has like a different presentation going on when you're going?
Well, yeah. So some of them are outfitted for like more of a salon or like that. Like it's more of like a classic seating, and then there's others that are more like for viewing. The outside.
Yeah.
There's wine in all of them, but there's different experiences. So like it's cool. You can go online and like take a look at them. Did you know that the conductor, you were talking about him?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure which conductor it was that you saw.
Yeah.
But America's first African American train conductor. The guy that is the conductor for the wine train is his grandson, 3rd generation African American train conductor, and his grandfather was the first African American train conductor in the U.S.
Oh, hell yeah!
Like cool story. Like
yeah.
That's awesome. Keeping the flame going.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I got some good stories and shit, but I think there's so much more evolution too, like that they can do with it, and Noble House is playing with a lot of ideas, and I think it's only going to get better. But I think wine tourism is like totally changing as it is right now. Like,
oh yeah.
I had a good question the other day in like an interview, and they're like, "Can you tell me about like how you see the evolution of wine tourism?" I was like, "Well, like how long do you want me to go back?" And he says, "As long as you can remember." It's like, okay, you're going to get a few decades perspective on this one. And so I went back to thinking about what I remember from being a kid, like in the 80s, right? And my grandfather lived on the property at the winery, and his house was like 150 feet away from the tasting room. So he'd just be in his house, working, whatever. Somebody'd knock on his house door, and he'd like, oh, yeah, let's go ahead and taste some wine, and walk him over to the tasting room, taste some wine. And oftentimes they'd like go back and eat dinner with my grandparents. And like everybody was just happy to have somebody interested in their wines back then.
Yeah.
Like Napa hadn't become the Napa that we know today. So then it evolved. More money came in, the dot-com boom, and things started getting more beautified. There were some like really, palatial places built. And then the experience started to evolve. Instead of just being like a wine bar where you're tasting a few of whatever the winemaker wants to give you, then it became like a little more of a restaurant hospitality perspective. So it's like you have a host, they bring you to your seat, you sit down, you have a wine educator coming up, walking you through the options, walking you through the wines, and food pairings came on the scene in the 90s. So stuff like that, but and that's kind of continued to evolve. Now, I think it's also gotten outside of just like the ag preserve, and now it's getting into like the downtown areas. So people that want to like hang out in downtown, they're like, oh, I want to go to a wine lounge tasting room. So you're chilling, you're getting some education, you're tasting some wines that you can't otherwise get, and you can like call it bar hopping or tasting room hopping, right? So you could hit like 5, 6 in a day, and just hang out in downtown Napa. And that's a whole new experience. And then we're seeing this whole experiential thing, right? The wine train, barrel tastings, food and wine pairings, actually getting involved in the winemaking process. Like I think that's the next thing with wine tourism is people want to be interactive with whatever it is they're consuming. So how do you make that experience more interactive? I mean, when La Cagna is done, when that winery is done, that's going to be a full like interactive experience for people to come in and work on a fermentation, work on barrels, and all that kind of stuff if they want to. But then in the meantime, we got downtown Napa. We're actually switching. You know this. We're switching the restaurant out of a traditional restaurant and going towards a wine tasting room with a restaurant component to it. So that'll be like, I don't know, a couple months away. We're going to do our last full food service on the 29th of May and then shut down, do some revamping, and then open it up as more of a tasting room with like, you know, experiences like, okay, you want 6 wines and we got food pairings for each one of those. So much more curated experience, much more like, you know, a higher level sort of thing. But I think that's what like downtown Napa is looking for, stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's going to be a Vow restaurant.
Yeah.
And now you're going to be kind of doing a whole revamp and like you said. And
a whole revamp, and then hopefully we'll get a tasting room for our spirits also. Because that's the other thing is like people are getting out of just like, yeah, they'll go hit all the wineries and everything, but then they'll go down to like, you know,
we got the brandy
Napa Valley Distillery place, the brandy California Brandy House.
Yeah.
And they'll just get like a little education, try some spirits, like mix it up. Like there's not like this allegiance to like it's wine and only wine. It's like, no, this is like artisan stuff. It's all, you know.
It's a party.
It is a party.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Everybody's out to just get hopped up enough to do something
everyone's
stupid.
Invited. Oh, that's all you need, you know? I mean, start with some wine tasting, then go into spirits.
And then back to wine.
I mean, it's just gonna end. You just know it's gonna be a good.
It's fine,
night.
and then do some edibles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then edibles.
Yep.
Oh, hey, are you gonna have that section up too? Is that gonna be a part of it? Is that gonna be a component of the new? You got a lot of space in there. I mean.
Wait, you just want like a weed smoking lounge?
You said it.
I no,
think
actually it's a good question. Like
yeah.
in like Amsterdam, even in like British Columbia up in Canada, there are like weed bars. Like places that you go in and like.
Oh yeah.
We don't have one of those I've never seen one of those.
Ever though, like in Amsterdam.
Yeah, but like, do we have those here?
No, I mean there's dispensaries.
Yeah, but there's no like lounge area where everybody's like sitting around.
Not. Yeah, where you can test them out. It's kind of, or. You know, it's almost like they're almost kind of like cafes, right? Aren't they?
Yeah, like in Amsterdam, they call them like coffee shops.
Yeah, and you can get like some shroom teas and stuff like
that,
right? And just trip balls.
I hadn't even just sitting in the back of a coffee shop, just drinking your mushroom tea, getting just.
How are you going to work turnover? Watch a phonic corner and stay there all day.
You got one of them like long cigarette deals. You know,
imagine you're a server in one of those places. Like you're just in there doing secondhand smoke all day long. You're just like high as shit.
Like, you think you're like,
can I get an espresso? Or like,
you're there with all your
dude,
friends.
I've been high for 8 hours straight. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're actually just by yourself, no shirt on, just talking to a wall.
But
hey,
for real, we don't have any of those.
We don't, and so this is, I mean, something to think about in your revamp because, I mean, there's opportunity. I'm just saying.
I don't know if it's legal.
Yeah, I mean, once you start, once you start kind of combining alcohol.
Yeah, you don't want to combine alcohol and weed.
Stuff like that, because you've even thought about. I mean, that came across, right? Weren't there?
Yeah, but if you cannot infuse weed with an alcohol.
You can't
with actual alcohol. You could actually like make a non-alcoholic wine, which fucks up the wine. And some people are doing this. I've seen a couple of these non-alcoholic wine that is infused with THC or CBD or both or whatever else. And so it's the problem I see with that though is like that's not really sessionable, right? Like if you open a bottle of like THC Sauv Blanc, you're gonna have a glass, and then you're gonna be like, oh no, I just gotta wait for this to kick in.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you think about like,
or you just keep drinking it and then you just.
They're just totally different sessions though. Like you're you can be out to dinner and be like, I'm just gonna have one glass, get super high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Like I mean, depending on, I mean, people have their tolerances and stuff like that, but most likely,
yeah,
you're not gonna just finish a bottle like you would normally.
I don't think so. Yeah, like I would normally. That new single
So-
serve size, the 750 ml.
So with this revamp, like, what do you see? So they said, like, you see as the evolution, because you're right. I mean, when we grew up, I like that story that you talk about, because it was very like, it just seemed like so much more like family oriented. You know,
It
like
was,
you-
and
you-
agricultural focused.
Yeah, like you rolled up. There wasn't, and that was a time too where, like, we were talking about, like, you didn't charge for tastings.
Yeah, it was all free.
It was all free. And I don't really even know. I was actually curious, when they started doing that. I don't know, implementing
charging?
that. Yeah, charging and everything.
I think that was in the
happened.
80s. I think some of the more like arrogant places started charging like when they
Yeah.
opened. I don't mean arrogant in a bad way, okay?
Yeah.
It's just like
Yes,
there's
but- yeah.
a touch of snobbery, which
Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it came from that, and then also like the dinner, like having you're like having dinner afterwards, like with your grandpa, like you were talking about that. You know what I mean? Like someone knocks on his door, and then
Yeah, my
everyone-
grandma's like, I'm making rabbit fricassee.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
If you guys want to stick around.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
it was like everything was free, and it was like I think that's one thing people like have a hard time imagining, right? For some reason, there's like this celebrity about being a winemaker.
Yeah.
Like there's something like cool. It's like, dude, we're all just regular people. There are some that have their nose in the air, just like there are Psalms that have their fucking nose in the air. But overall, though, like it is a family, like it's a family and community sort of focus when it comes to wine. So I think it was much more intact back then. I mean, you think about like even like Mondavi, the big ones, or the small ones like Malat, which I think is no longer making wine, but like the Malat brothers were just like they were making a little bit of wine, selling everything out of their tasting room. They worked the land behind the tasting room. They farmed their grapes there, made their wine there, like all on one plot. And if you walked in there, you'd get, the farming version based on what they were doing that day, the winemaker version, or just they were kind of party animals too. Or just like, I'm going to get wasted with you version.
Could you? That'd be cool though if you didn't know what you were gonna get into when you just rolled up at a winery. If you just like rolled up, people were just getting there's like dancing on tables and stuff like that. I mean, we're Italians. I see that a lot. The dancing on tables and all that.
Dude, speaking of that, I had a really cool experience this weekend.
Oh,
So
do tell.
It was Saturday. So, Bishop's birthday party. We did like
Yeah.
motorcycles, whatever. And one of his friends, his name is Stefan. And so his family's from Moldova, which is like formerly part of the Soviet Union.
Okay.
And so we've gotten to know him a little bit. And so they live off the Silverado Trail over there. And so this is like the second time I've gone to like their house for like a party, because they are like classic, just first gen immigrants, right?
Yeah.
But their culture is so intact. And so you go there and it's like a whole bunch of Moldovians, Russians, Ukrainians, and like they're all just having fun, getting along and making all their own shit. Like they grow their own lamb and raise their own lamb, make all their own like terrines and stuff, like all this cured food, and then these like amazing old like pots that they just do this big like boil in, and the food is fucking awesome. So they were like, no, it's my grandmother's 82nd birthday. You guys have to come. It's like, you guys have to come. It's my grandma's 82nd birthday. Like they're, you're like, and Rachel's
Wow,
like,
you sound like the machine.
His accents, man. I like it.
so, and Rachel's like, she's like, I don't know if we should like go. And I was like, oh, come on. This is what like our family used to do. Like the Italians would all gather, and it was just like a free for all. And it was like, oh, we got to make more pasta. We got to pull out more cheese. No problem. Pull it out. Have some fun. and so we go there, and these people are fucking like, they're hilarious, and they're like the nicest people. And karaoke is apparently a big thing in their culture.
Oh shit,
Dude,
they had no idea who they invited.
They got a whole fucking stage set up just for karaoke with like instruments and stuff. So like the dad's up there singing
What? They had a stage
traditional
thing? Yeah.
Moldovan songs, like playing music,
Whoa.
belting it out. And he was a world champion boxer. The dude's like, he's a guy you look at, you don't want to fuck with. Like gold chain, thick accent, fucking huge. And so we're out there like shooting guns, just bullshitting about stuff. And they're like, okay, now you try my wine. I made this wine from these grapes. Okay, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good. It's like a blend of Zin and Cab. It's all organic. And then he's like, okay, no, you try my grappa. No, you try my brandy. And they're just like fucking pouring one after the other and pushing it on you. And I left there. Rachel had to drive home. We were there for like 2 fucking hours. I was like,
how many things did you try?
I was like, Rachel, I can't. Like, I should. I mean,
Dude,
I could drive, but I shouldn't drive.
You get down on grappa though.
It's not like my favorite thing, but like theirs is actually really good. They called it Tutti Frutti.
Yeah. Tutti Frutti?
They called it Tutti Frutti because it was really fruity. Like it had like a bubblegumish kind of thing. It was good.
Really?
Really surprising for a grappa.
Dude.
But they know how to make their
usually really strong, right?
They know how to make their shit.
So that's like grape seeds?
No, grappa's like the pumice. Like after you
pumice.
press the wine out of the fermented skins. So all that wine goes to barrel, and then you've got all these solids. Well, there's still alcohol in those solids, right? Because you can't possibly get all the moisture out.
Yeah.
And so what they'll do is just take all that pumice, while it's still moist, toss it into a still, and then as it heats up, the first vapors that come off are going to be, or some of the first vapors are going to be alcohol. And that's where you capture that, and then that's grappa.
Yeah.
So it tastes really pumicey and a little bit hard, and it's always like super high alcohol.
Yeah.
Like 50, 60%.
Yeah. That shit will get you fucked up.
That shit, it hits hard. That stuff hits hard.
Wait, did you hit the karaoke though?
No, I couldn't do the
What?
Dude, I wasn't gonna embarrass like our country as all these like Moldovan guys.
You are a professional.
Dude, by the way, they all look like fucking UFC fighters. Dude, tattoos, like lean but jacked up,
damn.
like just like European UFC fighters, and they're all like the nicest people.
You could have like round them all up and like done some, Backstreet or something.
It's like,
and then is that
hit me, baby, one more
Could
time.
you imagine it? You know what I mean?
Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Why is he singing women's song?
Backstreet. They're like, rock your body.
A little Genuine.
Was that NSYNC? I don't know.
Riding my pony.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
man, that's
good
great.
experience. It was a lot of fun. But I just love seeing that, like, when you have the cultures that are kept intact, that like make the fabric of the United States.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we, in my family's time here in the States, right? Like, it was mostly German and Italian. That's kind of most of my background. But like everybody was like, no, you have to assimilate. And so it's like you don't teach the next generation the language. You don't teach them like the recipes, the culture, the music, all that stuff, right? And that's just how it was for years. Everybody was like, no, you gotta be an American as fast as you can. And now you see that like we actually have more of an appreciation for those things. So like the Mexican culture has been kept pretty damn well intact. Like all things considered, it's like still like you see it everywhere. You still have quinceañeras. You still have like huge wedding bashes. Like they've maintained their culture. And it's kind of sad that like the former immigrant generations had lost all of their stuff.
Yeah.
But evolution. Now, okay.
Evolution.
Art, I want you to pull this up because this place, best fucking barbecue I've ever had in Texas, Dallas, Texas. It's called
we're going to Texas.
Hurtado's Barbecue. And it is a Mexican barbecue.
Hurtado's?
Hurtado's. Hurtados.
Okay.
So I go there with a retail buyer, and he's like this just chill, like country boy. I've known him for a couple of years now. And so he's, they're like, well, where do you guys want to go to lunch? He's like, oh, I know Joe doesn't like anything fancy. They're like, yeah, let's just go to get some barbecue. We got this place called Hurtado's. Like, yeah, great, let's do it. Dude, fucking best barbecue I think I've ever had. But it was like classic barbecue.
Oh yeah.
But with all of like the Mexican spices and I mean, what a fucking amazing experience. So if y'all are in Dallas, Texas, anytime, Hurtado's Barbecue, and it's.
Would you eat there?
What did I eat there? I got the whole mixed plate, man.
You got the whole mixed plate?
I got beef ribs. The beef ribs are awesome. Pork ribs. Pulled pork. Oh, you know what a Texas Twinkie is?
What's a Texas Twinkie?
Check it out. So look, you get like one of these. So a Texas Twinkie, that's not on there. Oh, and they're fucking tacos. My mouth is watering. Dude, that's so good. Okay, so a Texas Twinkie is a jalapeno filled with cheese, wrapped in bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Texas Twinkie?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like a jalapeno popper wrapped in bacon.
But it tastes like it's from Texas. It's better.
I'm gonna start calling it Texas Twinkie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but I like it.
It's not. It's not like the Dirty Sanchez. It's a whole different thing.
What? Dirty? No, yeah, it's not at all.
It's not at all.
Like the Dirty Sanchez.
They're not related at all.
Don't bring up that image art. We don't need to do that again.
I'm telling you though, the brisket, everything is just fucking awesome there. So, all right. I don't know how we got into that.
Yeah, because we were talking about evolution. We're talking about evolution of tourism in Napa Valley.
And wow, we went off on a tangent. And now we're talking about Texas. And now we're talking about
our mouth is watering.
Cultural crossovers in the United States. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So,
but I think by and large, you think that there's an evolution coming. You're already getting on board with it. And I mean, I think it's just going to keep growing. I see like downtown Napa just kind of like blowing up in this different stuff. Like you said, spirits, wines, and everything is just all kind of getting incorporated. And I think you were right too, just to reiterate about the people wanting the wine experience. And I know that's what you're working on already. And we've talked about like getting that at La Cagna.
Yeah, well, so La Cagna is going to be a whole like we'll be able to do a ton of shit up there, and like people get their hands really dirty, like really in the shit. At the building, the tasting room in downtown Napa, we'll be able to do like blending sessions, we just did something like this last week with a group, and we brought all the components out of this guy right here. We'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah.
And then like you can also come in and wax dip. So like if you want to wax your own bottle, like just little things like that where people are able to interact with the stuff and it just makes it fun. It makes it more memorable. And at the end of the day, that's all you're trying to do. Like you want people to have good memories.
Yeah.
So how do you augment that and change what you're doing so that you can differentiate from, the next guy?
More hands-on and interactive.
Yeah.
And then people are going to love that stuff because that's also like, I mean, what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to videotape that.
Videotape it? They're going to want to tell the story.
Social. Yeah. You're going to have like your whole, are you going to have like any of your merchandise there, your TikTok? Are we going to get some of your TikTok merchandise? Because you were mentioning that like.
What TikTok merchandise?
Well, hold on.
Wait,
I haven't showed you the.
Do we have merch?
I haven't showed you the deck yet, but
Do we have merch? Are you making merch?
Well, first of all, as Joe mentioned that a lot of winemakers now could be seen as like celebrities, but no one really knew who Joe was until TikTok. So that's what you're kind of most known for, wouldn't you say?
Fuck you.
Like you come from a family of TikTokers.
Yeah, fuck you. It's a multi-generational TikTok family.
No, like if you go through your family, like you had like your first like I think like you generationally they started on MySpace, right? They were rocking that.
My grandparents were on MySpace. My dad and mom were on Facebook.
That's what it's gonna be like, bro. Just think about it, dude. As we get like older, stuff like that might be it. Like I come from a family of influencers.
Jesus Christ. When do you think the name like influencer was first like introduced as like?
Of influencer?
I mean, the word influence, of course, has been around forever, but like when you actually applied it to like, did it go back to MySpace when somebody was pitching for something? Like I just pitched. I'm not getting money for it, but like I just pitched Hurtado's, right? So maybe me just saying that influenced somebody to go to Hurtado's, right? So. But when did the word like when was the first influencer actually? Like,
I'm gonna take a leap. I'm gonna say like Instagram. I think Instagram.
You think it was Instagram?
I think Instagram really kind of.
You don't think influencers were on Facebook?
Were they on Facebook? Yeah, like but were
they referred to as?
Were they getting the reach and like the the publicity that they were getting and also like the money? I think that when the money started coming, it was really like Instagram saw that.
Hey Art, can you look up when the first use of the word influencer pertaining to social media came up?
I'm already on it, boss.
All right, so I am most known for my TikTok. Fuck you, Chris. Excuse me.
I think wasn't. I was trying to think, and also I'd like to know, Art. They're like, who are some of the first? Who do we consider some of the first pioneers of influencing? Like, who were some of the first influencers that we would say that you think
the Kardashians.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you're right, which is kind of.
I mean, they were probably like the strongest out of the gate influencers on social media that I could think of.
Well, okay, but I mean, what about influencer that wasn't, didn't have the.
Sometimes I wish I had a so I could just
have their
do what
bodies
fucking
letting-
Kim did and become that popular, famous, whatever else. It's like all you had to do was just get fucking videotape getting pounded from behind.
Hey, okay? She does other things. She's got some talents.
Hey, you know what? She can do what she did. Do what she did. She's a businesswoman.
Yeah.
I'll give her that.
Her mom?
I got
interesting,
her mom
actually,
is.
guys.
Her mom is a businesswoman. Yes.
The era of the Marlboro Man as the first influencer.
Wait, what? No.
No, that's not social media. Or
I know, hold on.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
God, the Marlboro Man. Oh.
Old Spice. The man. Yeah. So.
All right, wait. Wave of influencers, 2015.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Snooki.
That reality TV, which reality TV also does go back to the Kardashians, right?
Reality TV was. I think,
Snooki. Whatever happened to her?
and I think we really kind of like learned
There you go.
too.
There's one of the Kardashians. It's Khloe. And they all look the same now.
It got to this point too, which was weird. Which I think, like at the beginning of reality TV, as far as like being in entertainment or like the acting world, it was like at first it was so funny. Like you didn't want to have anything to do with it, right? Because you thought it could like tarnish your
Me
career, your
personally.
representation. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, anyone. Yeah, like
Yeah.
reality TV. But now it's like,
Oh, on reality TV on that. Yeah.
but now
Well,
on
yeah,
that
you-
front,
Dude, yeah, then
Ain't news is good
you
news.
become synonymous with one like. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're the guy from whatever, fucking The Bachelor."
Yeah.
That was dope, bro.
Yeah.
Like, huh?
like you're that dude from TikTok.
Yeah, it is a worry. Yeah, it's a concern.
It's not. I mean, come on. I mean, that's not happening to you, is it?
Yeah, it does actually. I've had more people come up to me and be like, "You're that guy from TikTok, aren't you?" Than I have.
Okay.
And that was in 1 year. In 1 year, I've gotten like over like dozens of like, "You're that guy from TikTok." I've been making wine for over 20 years, and I've had like 2 people ever come up to me and be like, "Oh, you're that winemaker."
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a fucking winemaker, not a TikToker.
They're like,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Can you just dip a bottle again?
Yeah, dance for me, monkey. That's
Okay, so what do we have? We just want to end on this note. The first what? There's no clear first influencer on social media. However, many consider fashion designer Coco Chanel.
Coco
first-
Chanel, the first
okay.
influencer closest to how we think of them today.
Okay, well,
Coco
mean-
Chanel, okay.
yeah.
Didn't she also was she a Nazi?
Gosh, what was that stand up?
Or was she just a
You're
Nazi
referring to that stand-up?
sympathizer? Same thing, pretty much.
I think didn't she date one? Or wasn't she hanging out with one? I don't know.
I don't know.
remember
There's
that just
something.
reminds me there was like that who did that stand up? Anyways.
I don't remember.
Um
Anyways,
well since you brought up
fashion designer and Nazi informant.
oh shit.
Yeah, that's something you don't want your fucking name tied to, I'll tell you that.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Okay.
What should I? Yeah.
All right.
So
where were we at?
We
were just talking about the
whole-
evolution,
the
and getting into
evolution.
blending and shit.
And you were saying like at this place there's gonna be interactive. They're gonna be able to blend their own wines. And what I want to talk to you today was blends.
Okay.
How does it work and everything like that? I mean, how do you choose
Wow,
which
super
varietals
exciting.
are gonna go with each other? What the percentages? What are you doing? Are you just
Well, first
Bill Nye and the science guy in there, and you're just in the lab coat?
No, it
You're
all
with the other
starts
winemakers?
with astrology. You got to know each variety has a different astrological
I
sign,
fucking knew it.
and you don't want to put like a
Aries.
Scorpio with a Taurus. Like that's not
That's
gonna
how
work.
that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it. So you start off with like in this case Petite Syrah, which is an Aries, and so it needs something to balance it. So you got to go with like Zinfandel, which is Libra. And so,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh! Please, can we? we should
I think we should do
a
horoscopes
video
for Wyatt at
on
some
that.
point.
Yeah, and watch people go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing the shit that you can cause, right? I think that's why you like it a lot.
That
Actually.
is-
That's
that
where
is
you
part of the
really,
fun.
I think you got into it. Is you could just do a video and you're fucking around. You know, it's like, aren't we all like laughing?
And
then
somebody
just
takes it
people just
super
blast
literal.
you on the comments. They get so heated.
Did you know like my tactic now, because I'm worried about my kids not having a good radar for bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Because they just watch shit and they believe everything they see. I mean,
Yeah.
not all the time, but like, so now I've been, for like the last 6 months, I was gaslighting the hell out of them this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'd
Again,
call them out
yeah.
and be like, no, am I gaslighting you? Yeah, I think so. Yep, I am. That was
You-
bullshit. You caught the bullshit.
You and Art introduced me to this couple of podcasts ago that you're both actively gaslighting your kids, and I think that's that's great.
I'm sure here in
Great
California
parenting,
it's
yeah.
considered like
I don't-
abuse.
I don't know what they think about that. Like I was saying that, but they're like, that's good parenting. Yeah, teach them. But
I think it is. Dude, you gaslit my kids.
you told me to.
Well, yeah, I mean, I coerced you into doing
You
it.
said
but-
like, you said you want to be a good godfather or not. That's what you do. Okay, so tell me, how's this process? Okay, so first of all, let's start with some basic kind of questions here. When it comes to blending, do you blend reds? Do you blend? Obviously, you blend reds, but do you blend whites as well? Like, would you see?
you can.
You can.
Well, I mean, you got
You
like wines
typically-
like Conundrum out there that are like white blends.
There you
right?
go. Right? Yeah.
But if you know like the labeling laws, right? So like if you have a Cabernet, well, whatever. So like let's say Sauvignon Blanc,
Yep.
and you're like, I want to round this off a little bit, so I'm going to put some Semillon in there, and you can put 3%, whatever the right blend is, and you can still call it Sauvignon Blanc without even needing to disclose that there's Semillon in it.
Oh.
You can actually do it up to 70. It's 75% to state the varietal in California.
Yeah.
So you can do 25% Semillon and 75% Sauv Blanc and still call it Sauv Blanc.
Yeah.
Now, when you get into like a red blend, I think like white blends are okay. I prefer like a little more, varietal specificity, so to speak. I think that's more important with whites. Like if you're looking for a good red and you go with a red blend, you're probably going to get something that's just like it's a big red round juicy wine.
Yeah.
With whites, if I got a white blend, I wouldn't know if that's going to have like residual sugar, if it was going to be big, oaky, buttery, or if it was going to be really lean and light. Like you don't, and there's no like labeling thing. That's one thing I think we should all do is like say like what is the level of like acidity, dryness, whatever you want to put on there, so people can actually like understand what it is they're about to buy.
Yeah.
And red blends are kind of the same. There's a lot of them out there that are sweet, and that's not when I pour one of those in my glass. I'm just like, I get pissed. It's just like,
Oh, you get angry.
well, yeah, it's like it's a red, like call it a sweet red wine if it's going to be sweet. Like otherwise, I'm expecting
You want to have
something.
a heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So what's interesting about red blends though? Well, what?
Because you mentioned something. So with the sweet, is there a way, since they're not going to, like you said, you like a heads up. They're not going to really give you a heads up. When you're looking at blends, could you see something out of the varietal, pick that out and be like, that might be a sweet one.
No,
And there's nothing you can do about it.
no, because you can make you can leave Zinfandel, any of the varieties. You can leave them like with a little residual sugar,
It's all, yeah.
and so it doesn't make a difference.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, with red blends though, what's cool about them is like you don't have any guardrails. So you start off more with like a concept of what you want to produce, right? So you're like, what do we want to achieve, like with the quilt fabric of the land here? It's like, what do we want to achieve with that? Like, well, we wanted to make like the biggest, most badass red blend, but make it balanced. So like, if we were to say, well, we want to make our cab like that, well, cab's a big red, but it's never going to be able to contend with the structure that say Petite Sirah can offer. So, you're working within boundaries and you're trying to really, honor Mother Nature in the sense of terroir when you're making like varietally and regional specific wines. So when it came to like the fabric of the land, it was like, all right, well, what do we want to do? And it was just that. It was, let's make the biggest, most badass red blend, make it balanced. Started off with Petite Sirah, started playing with some other stuff we were experimenting with, like Zinfandel, Merlot, Syrah, a number of other varietals, Malbec. And, while we used a number of those, we also dropped off a whole lot of them because they didn't work in the blend. Like the Malbec made it too tight. We already had a ton of tannin with the Petit Syrah. So, you know, adding Malbec, which Malbec actually means bad mouth in Latin. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Bad mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because it's so tannic, so like it's just, you know, in certain areas, if you get it ripe enough and make it right, it's a good standalone varietal. But like it has a reputation in Bordeaux as being the bad mouth. Like, yeah. So we started with the Petit Syrah, and it's just like a monstrous red wine. But then we balanced it out with these other softer varietals. So you have this gigantic style of red that's dry, but round also, and is just well balanced.
Nice.
That's kind of the cool thing about them. You just don't. The negative thing about them as a consumer of them is that you don't know what you're getting, right?
Yeah.
Until you try it. You might try it at a restaurant. That gives you like a brief little interlude with what to expect, right? You don't have to invest in an entire bottle. You just get a glass or something. And then if you like it, hopefully you can, you know, find it and buy it.
So I imagine it was always kind of like, you know, going into 7-Eleven and doing like a suicide Slurpee.
Oh, those were the best.
You know?
Well, and then it's like, do you want to layer them or do you want to like blend them? Did you like when you were drinking a Slurpee that was like just...
You mean, did I want to like stir them all up once I like got it in there, or let it stack?
Yeah. Did you when you drank it, were you letting it
I think I
stack or did you mix it?
Yeah, I think at first I just like let it stack, and then I would like mix it up. So you know,
even with sodas at a fountain, right? You're like,
exactly.
I want some lemonade, but I also want like a little bit of 7-Up or Sprite, and then you're like, and then I just want to top it up like a little tiny bit with like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, that was good. A good suicide. That didn't sound right.
That did not sound right, Chris.
Okay, we're gonna cut that. Okay, so it's a lot, but I like what you were saying, even with the bad mouth, you know, or Malbec, is like it's just kind of like having fun and experimenting, right? I mean, that's really what it is like kind of putting together these things and tasting the different blends and seeing what works.
Yeah.
You like to, it seems like, stay more with like red wine blends. I mean, you can, like we just discussed.
Yeah, you can't do whites, but
whites and stuff like that.
So this is a,
Could you
as
ever
Chris describes it, let's just call it Jeffrey Epstein. The good
oh
suicide.
My dude,
the good suicide.
Oh god. Dude, seriously, I don't know how we're gonna make it through this. Whether he's a wild card. What about, wait, really quick, why don't people ever do red wine and white wine blends?
That's a good question. So I actually had a woman ask if I can make a red Chardonnay, which it's a little more complicated than just like adding red wine, right? If you want to actually make Chardonnay that has structure, then you gotta, like, if we're making rosé and we're taking those clusters, we would run them through the destemmer and then into the press. This is in the case that we wanted to salvage the skins, right? Because you don't ferment rosé on its skins.
Yeah.
Problem is those skins are pretty like underripe, so you're going to be pretty soft on your extraction when you mix it in with a red or with a white varietal. So what you do is you press those skins, get the rosé juice out, you start your process on the fermentation of rosé and whatever else, take the skins out of the press, put them into Chardonnay juice, and then ferment it. So I made a wine years ago that qualified as a Viognier, which is it's a white varietal, a Rhone varietal, qualified as a Viognier from Santa Lucia Highlands. And I had, God, probably like triple the ratio of the amount of skins that you would put in there. So I was making rosé for a little brand that we had for a couple of years called Subio.
Yeah.
It was Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, and it was from Mendocino County. Well, we brought that in. We did just what we're talking about. Pressed it, destemmed it, pressed that, started making the rosé, took the skins out of the press, put them in a tank, and then put Viognier in there. The thing is, there was not any real gallonage from the red skins because all the juice was pressed out. So the gallonage that you're fermenting and what you're claiming is actually Viognier, but because you fermented it on red skins, it turned out to be a red wine. And it was a really interesting wine. It was like, so, you know, lower ripeness on the reds for the rosé, so it didn't have like a ton of color, but the ratio was so high that it was like it was so dark, like, and really vibrant because the acidity was high. So bright purple, but we called it Subio Black is what we called it. So it was super black, and it was it was classified as a Viognier.
Damn, dude.
It was weird. We only did like 500 cases, and it was one year. It tasted like black licorice, like anise. Like a lot of that came through.
Whoa.
I'm sure I could find a bottle of that stuff.
Yeah, dude, bring that shit in.
So, yeah, that was just a little fuck around and find out kind of thing. Yeah.
You do that a lot though. You fuck around and find out.
Yeah. Find out you never should do it again.
And what
It's
about
like putting wine in a whiskey barrel? It doesn't fucking work.
We did that. Yeah, we saw that. Yeah,
That doesn't
you
work.
Spit that shit out.
Yeah.
You weren't happy.
No. We wasted a couple barrels. Yeah.
And what about when it comes to blends for varietals? Like, is there typically ones that you favor over others, or you think that like go well together or stuff like that, or is it always pretty much just an experiment?
I think it's always an experiment. In California, like, we can do, whatever. Like, but if you think of more of the traditional elements, like Bordeaux has its red varietals. You got Cab Sauv, Cab Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Malbec. You got the Rhone Valley, which has like, I don't know, dozens of different varieties.
Yeah.
And so those are all blends, like red blends, white blends, and that's kind of how they do it. But those Rhone varietals work really well together, just like the Bordeaux varietals work really well together naturally. But in California, because we have such a broad area to grow, you can make great blends from, Bordeaux varieties mixed across with Rhone varieties and whatever else. I'd say the one thing that sucks as a blender is Pinot. No, I'm serious. Pinot's like, what does Pinot contribute? Like, yeah, it might like pop the acid or something, but Pinot might be the worst red blending grape, and it's much more beneficial from terroir or driver.
Is that why you stick to like 100%
Yeah.
Pinot? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
don't
put
really blend that?
like Syrah in a Pinot, and it's gonna taste like Syrah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Pinot's a very fragile one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've always said that, right? As the devil made Pinot, and what's your favorite?
God made Cabernet, whereas the devil made Pinot Noir.
There it is. That's going to be your tattoo, which we're going to actually. When are you getting that tattoo?
I am actually not sure, but I am going to get it. I was thinking about doing it either on my forehead or my neck, like right under my beard.
Oh yeah,
like,
he's going to get a neck. Yeah, you heard it
We
first.
are
all right.
so filming that.
just so. The
Yeah,
problem
we
is
are.
I got like hair all over my body, and I'm not about to start shaving like a patch out so you can fucking read my tattoo. So it limits the areas to, I don't know. Forehead is the cleanest. That'll be the sharpest look.
I can't wait till you're all tatted up, bro.
Yeah, coming up like up the neck.
So soon we'll be able to actually people will be able to be playing with blending. So I think that's really
Yeah.
cool. So something to look forward to in downtown Napa. Interactive. Can you imagine that going in? Would they be able to create custom blends?
Yeah, so you can do custom blends.
Wow,
Uh,
that's awesome.
yeah, so you'll be able to bring
And
shit
you
home
can
with you.
name it
Yeah,
and shit like that. Okay.
you can name it.
Yeah,
call
give
it
it
like,
your
yeah.
name. You're like I don't know.
Like a 7-pound, 4-ounce, 21-inch long baby named. No, you don't need to name it. I mean, I guess you could name it if you
Okay.
want to.
Okay. Wait, last question. I don't know. I didn't know where you were going, bro. I was scared. I've been scared this whole time. But last thing is that when it comes to blending, I've always thought about this too. Could you go and buy 5 different wines, like 100%? So like say
Oh,
you
yeah,
got
and then,
a
like,
Pinot,
blend them on your own?
and then go home
Yeah.
with your friends and play blend. Would you ever like recommend that, or
I think people should try that.
like
Yeah.
that would be fun, right?
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
A blending party where
Yeah.
you use all people bring in like 100% stuff
Yeah,
so
you
they
gotta,
can
yeah.
blend it.
And then you got to get like a couple beakers and some graduated cylinders and
Did you-
pipettes and just like basic chemistry shit. You don't need to, it's all you do is you're measuring and mixing and whatever.
And then you blind taste at the end, and then whoever's blend wins, gets the prize. Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. But
I
those,
like that idea.
Yeah, and those blends will be.
Why,
they will have a
didn't
name.
we encourage that during COVID? Dude, we could have had some fun with that on our pod or on our live streams and stuff.
I know. On that, we just came up with there's 2 really good ideas we came up on with this podcast. I think we should. We should think about
capitalize
that.
on them.
We should
Yeah.
maybe do that. Should we jump into some horrible bosses?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
All right. What do we got here? We got.
You could read the first. We got like two stories
Holy
on there.
shit.
This
is a long
That's
one.
a doozy.
All right. Well, here we go. Horrible bosses. If you guys
Oh, yeah.
don't remember what this is about. This is about us just giving our opinion on other people's bad experiences and learning from them also, because at the end of the day, we always want to be a good part of the team, and hope that we inspire others to do the same. So,
and that is horrible.bosses@coppercane.com. Send us these stories so we can keep it going. It looks like we got someone went in for a novel for Joe, but we will
Jesus
just go through it. There's 2 on there, bro.
Holy shit.
People are getting excited. Okay.
Where's the second one? Oh, there it is. Okay,
yeah,
got it. All right.
Read the second one if you want.
No, I'll go with the first one.
All right, let's get up. All right, you ready? Horrible bosses. Here we go.
Here we go. All right. My former boss was undoubtedly one of a kind. Having immigrated from India to the U.S. years ago, he had struggled to secure a permanent position until he landed a full-time research job with the federal government. However, his behavior left much to be desired. One of his memorable incidents occurred during my 3rd week on the job when he wrongly accused a female coworker of moving his equipment. He exploded with anger, belittled her, and questioned her competence. She rightly filed a complaint against him, setting a tumultuous tone for our time together. I mean, you got to think, dude, you come from another country where you're like, you just go straight off on somebody. Like, you fucking suck. You are incompetent. You're the dumbest. You know, like, you come here to the States and you got all these fucking Karens and just like good, overly like, sensitive people. They're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He told me I suck at my job. Maybe you should do better.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, so I'm trying to be a buffer here on like.
Okay, yeah.
You know, I don't want to be 100% on either side of this.
You like to see, we're wearing shoes, their shoes.
I'm doing the victim blaming thing right now.
Oh, okay. Well,
what did you do to deserve such a consequence? All right. In addition to his explosive temper, my boss had a knack for making unreasonable demands. He frequently insisted that I stay late, and if I dared to leave on time, he would become irate. Moreover, he attempted to withhold payment for the overtime he had forced me to work, leaving me frustrated and undervalued. With a sour demeanor, he managed to isolate himself from almost everyone in our 50-person unit, maintaining a semblance of camaraderie with only one colleague. The challenges did not end there. My boss displayed a remarkable talent for computer mishaps, claiming he was locked out, losing his pass, or breaking his computer with alarming regularity. He went so far as to inform the IT staff that someone was intentionally sabotaging him. Unsurprisingly, I bore the brunt of his blame for nearly everything that went awry. Regardless of how unrelated or unjustified, I was the scapegoat for a rainy day, a flawed program, or crops not growing as expected. His constant berating included insults about my intelligence, qualifications, and even threats to terminate me and replace everyone in the team. You know, that's like, just don't. You can't. If you're gonna put shit out there like that, you gotta be able to follow through.
Yeah.
Like those empty threats. I hate when people do that shit. Okay. As his toxic behavior intensified, my decision to seek alternative employment became inevitable. It was during this period that he made a startling remark, informing me that in his home country, a woman speaking out against a man would face dire consequences like stoning. There you go, dude.
Whoa,
back in old school.
Dude.
Yeah. This is when I diligently pursued other job opportunities. When I finally handed him my resignation letter, he seemed taken aback, asking if I was serious. I gave him a generous 20-day notice, explaining that I needed to utilize my earned overtime before my departure. Predictably, he contested my request, but I stood firm and eventually prevailed. His reaction upon realizing I was leaving was predictably explosive. He unleashed a torrent of anger, claiming that I would never find another job and that I would regret leaving his employment. However, I calmly informed him that I had already secured a new position, relishing the smug satisfaction that washed over me. In a last-ditch effort, he brought in a replacement for me to train. As my final day arrived, he informed the replacement that their performance was subpar, abruptly ending their stint. I suspected it was due to restrictions placed on him after losing 2 technicians within 6 months. On my very last day, my boss astonishingly feigned ignorance about my departure. suggesting I come in the next day as if nothing had changed. Unsurprisingly, I politely declined, yet his persistence did not end there. For 4 consecutive days after my official departure, he incessantly called me, failing to leave a message each time. I chose not to respond, finally freeing myself from this toxic grip. Reflecting on that tumultuous experience, I find solace in the fact I have moved on to a new job, and I genuinely love it. It's a fresh start where I can finally thrive and be appreciated, leaving behind the taxing ordeal fueled by my former boss. Well, good for you for growing. No, whoever wrote this, they're pretty fucking
articulate.
well. Yeah, I'm impressed. Number one, that's quite a bit to write. But well done. Well done.
I think it was good.
So you try to like think like, okay, this dude comes in from another country, whole different culture. Like there should be like some kind of like training about like, okay, you're gonna be a boss. These are things you can't do in the United States.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Because if you just like jump in, you're like, women get stoned in my country
I mean,
for this. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, well, you're not there anymore. You're like when you're on this turf, you're on these rules.
oh yeah.
And when
man.
I'm on that turf, I'm on those rules. So like you best believe I am not gonna fuck around if I go to, I don't know, Singapore, where they got really strict laws. Like I'm not gonna fuck around. I don't want to be in fucking jail in another country.
yeah.
It sounds horrible. It happened to me only twice in the
Yeah.
past,
Oh,
and
well,
it's just not good.
Two jails out of the country.
I'm kidding. Never been arrested.
Okay.
I'll leave that up to your imagination. Yeah.
So, circling back, yeah.
So
Dude,
number
that guy
one,
was out of his element, man.
the berating and shit like that. I mean, when people are like just talking shit and threatening people, that's I don't think there's anything you can do other than leave that job. I mean, like, I don't know if I could give the guy advice other than like go take a fucking course on how to live in America amongst the people. Like the population, you know, we're kind of like already like on autopilot,
Dude,
doing our shit.
I mean, you could just that comment alone that you're talking about. I mean, take that to HR. I think that's done. I think you're done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you can come back from that. But it's amazing. I mean, he was still there. I don't know how that.
Maybe he was the owner. I don't know.
I still don't know, dude. Like that's fucking crazy.
So he's from India. So aren't Indian Americans the on average from a what would you call it, like a population here in the U.S. So Indian Americans, I believe, are the wealthiest on average of all groups. I'm not just talking immigrants. I'm talking like if you take, whatever, white people, African American, Asian, or any sort of derivative of Asian. I don't know, like if they break it out by Chinese descent, Japanese descent, etc. But I think overall Indian Americans are actually the wealthiest
in the U.S.
group in the United States.
And
I think Art's looking it up right now.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I'm right.
He's gonna bring it up. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, maybe part of it is drive and hurting people's feelings. I will say that we've gotten too sensitive as a society. Like, we were just talking about this, dude. I am worried for my kids. Like, they gotta like have a thick skin, man. Like, you go to New York, your first time. If you're from California and you lived in this little bubble, it's like,
Wait, here it is. Sorry. Yeah, the richest immigrant
then what? Okay, so the
group in the United States.
Asian Americans, okay. And what is this next one? Indian Americans are the highest earning ethnic group in the USA.
Oh.
You want to click on that? I'm curious with that, like... Huh, okay. That's interesting. All right.
You learned something? Thank you, Art. I'm glad we could.
Yeah, what's the ranking? What's the ranking of the white people?
Okay. We have to...
I want to see how far we've fallen back. We got the melting pot, baby. I love it. We're all just going to be ethnically ambiguous at some point, 100 years down the road in the States. And I'm all for it.
Human beings, man.
My wife is she is a Moroccan Jew and Irish. So she's got all sorts of like shit going on, but like it's a really interesting, like just the other thing. So she's like could be African American. She's definitely Jewish, and then she's like Irish. So it's like quite a fucking mix. Anyways, pretty cool. Okay, so what do we have? Yeah. Median household income in the United States by ethnic group. Indian Americans topping out. Are they really? They are the top, huh? At an average of $100,500 annually. Then Filipino Americans 83.3, Taiwanese Americans 82. Wow. Okay, so we're going 1, 2, 3. So a lot of Asian descent up there. Pakistani Americans beating out the white Americans. I feel like I'm an announcer.
Yeah, I was like, is
for
this
the
like
Olympics.
a competition? We should.
White Americans at 59.9. Oh, the average American. Well, that's average American is everybody, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's everybody. The whole melting pot is at 56.2. Wow. All right, man. That's, well, learn something new every day.
Good stuff. Wait, great to...
So back to the horrible bosses. Remember, horrible.bosses@coppercane.com. We want to hear your stories and share them and also try to understand that there are some cultural things in play where I think it just needs a little correction. But I think that leaving that job was the best thing you could have done, and obviously your writing skills show that you're...
Yeah, please tell me that you're writing novels and books and stuff like that, and send them our way.
All right, this is like J.K. Rowling in the making.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, hey, thanks everybody for listening. Until next time, go with your palate.
Yes, we out.
Woo!
Woo!